Hi, everyone. Today's lesson will be on analyzing political cartoons. Okay? Now, the purpose of analyzing political cartoons is that they are quite common in social studies, and you are going to see them all the way to grade 12. And if you do happen to move on to secondary, post-secondary, and you take a social studies class, this is actually something that you will be asked to do. Okay. They're also a powerful way to try to understand about geography and current events and politics. Okay. Okay. What does analyzing mean? Well, it means to pull something apart, okay, so that we can look at the little pieces, the little components, and try to understand the overall picture. When we talk about political, in terms of political cartoons, we're talking about the leadership of different places, whether it be the leadership of a town, a city, a country, and so forth. Okay. Now, political cartoons will appear in magazines and in newspapers. And what newspapers will do is they will hire someone to create these cartoons, and their job is to talk about current events. Okay. Now, when we analyze, we look for certain things. So, for example, in the pictures, we look for pictures and we look, we try to figure out what do they mean. Okay. Um, Sometimes in the picture, you might see exaggeration. Okay. Something that's has been made bigger than it is. So often exaggeration is used to convey or to provide to convey a message. Sometimes is to provide with identity of the person. So, for example, if we look at political cartoons of Donald Trump, we tend to see they exaggerate his bad hair, his big hair. They might exaggerate his orange skin um, because these are all prominent features that he has, and it helps you identify the person. Um, it also pokes fun of the person with his orange skin. Maybe is telling you that he likes to suntan a lot or go to those tanning salons that, talk about his lifestyle perhaps. Um, okay. For Trudeau, for example, they exaggerate his nice hair, his large nose. Okay. And basically, um, the exaggerations is just they're making fun of the person. Okay. So size is a big thing when it comes to political cartoons in terms of conveying a message. Okay. Whether it's really, really big or something that's really, really small. Okay. We also look at labels, okay, to understand a representation. So for example, they might have a donkey in the picture, but they'll have a blanket on top of it with a label, with a name, with a concept. And this is just for you to see that the donkey is representing something else. Okay. Political cartoons will also have captions, and this is the narrator. Think of it as the narrator, the storyteller, and they're telling you what is going on in in the picture. Okay. Sometimes we see those captions in clouds or in bubbles above their heads, above the heads in the cartoon, and that's just to show that they're speaking what they're saying or something that they're thinking. Okay. So if we look at this very first one here, this cartoon here, what we see is we see arms, okay, and of a very large person in comparison to the world, okay. We also see that the person is wearing a suit, okay, so maybe to convey that this person is a business person, it's an important person, okay. Um, Someone that's wealthy, a businessman. It could be a business suit. Okay. Um, the the world. We see the globe. We see a cheese shredder, and the person is shredding the world like a block of cheese. Okay. At the bottom, we see a caption. It says globalization. So this is how they're portraying globalization. Okay. Um, So the opinion, maybe perhaps, of the artist is the businessman is using the world as an ingredient. As to what, so for example, he could be using trees or diamonds or fish or oil, something to create things, something to use to make money with. Okay. But if you look um, at the world being shredded, then what the cartoon is conveying here is the problem that just like cheese, if you shred it long enough, you are going to run out. Okay, so the problem is that we will not be able to use the world forever, that the resources will run out. Okay, so if you look at the size, it conveys that the person is very powerful, the clothing businessman, okay, holding the world. Okay, so maybe a corporation owns that world and is using it. Okay, and the size of the world, meaning that there is a limit. Okay, if we go to the next cartoon. Okay. Here, you've seen this one before. So here we see a lot of people. We see the crowd, but we can't see them. We can't see their faces. Okay. One of the boxers is slightly bigger than the referee. Okay. And he's been labeled localism. Okay. So localism is the opposite of globalization. It's the idea of supporting and buying things of local vendors, local artists, in a way to support your local businesses and a way to reduce cost because there's no transportation involved from other countries. Also, maybe to stop contributing to pollution because to transport things from country to country, there's shipping, there's it could be done by plane, by train, and all of that contribute to pollution. So localism is the opposite of globalization. Okay. Now in the other, we see a big guy, very mean. He looks mean. Look at his face. He's got big muscles. Okay. Um, and when you look at and his nickname, if you look on his belt, his nickname is Biz. And Biz is often used, it's a nickname to talk about big, big businesses. Okay. Now the referee is saying, well, I want a regular match. Okay. Meaning I want the normal match. However, this is not a normal match because if you watch any boxing, you know that when the opponents are when they're coming up with the fighters, they typically go by weight. So usually the fighters are within the same size, right? The same weight category. So it's a fair fight. Whereas here, the referee is saying, well, I want a fair fight. I want a regular fight. And you see localism with his hands going out, going, what? What the heck? Like, this is not going to be a fair fight. Okay.